Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our Cinco de Mayo a las 5 spring virtual event. I am Dr. Linda Prieto, Executive Director of Upward Scholars. We are live streaming to Upward Scholars YouTube channel and recording this event. Please note that everyone else is muted to avoid background or competing noise. And I will now make an announcement in Spanish for anyone needing interpretation services. Bienvenidos y gracias por acompañarnos esta tarde en nuestro evento del 5 de mayo a las 5. Estamos transmitiendo en vivo en el canal de YouTube de Upward Scholars y también grabando este evento. Yo soy la doctora Linda Prieto, directora ejecutiva de Upward Scholars. Todos están en mudo para evitar conflicto de sonido. Si necesita interpretación de inglés a español, favor de hacer clic en el botón con icono de globo que aparece en la parte de abajo de su pantalla. Seleccione la opción de inglés a español. Gracias les doy a Luis y Brenda por ayudarnos con la interpretación esta tarde. Thank you to Luis and Brenda, Upward Scholars Habla Más Spanish coaches, for providing interpretation services this evening. English speakers, please note you do not need to select the interpretation feature at all. I also want to thank our event sponsors, the San Mateo Federal Credit Union, the San Mateo County Community Colleges Foundation, and our lead sponsor, San Mateo County Community College District, our planning committee for all the behind the scenes efforts, our speakers, our breakout room facilitators, and our moderator. Moderating this evening is Lorena Domínguez, an award-winning journalist and former evening anchor for Noticiero Telemundo 48, the local station serving the Latinx community in the Bay Area. Ms. Domínguez was born in Mexico, graduated from San Francisco State University, and completed a professional development curriculum in marketing and media branding at the University of California in Los Angeles.
Thank you, Linda. It is great to be here with all of you today. Feliz Cinco de Mayo. And what a great way to commemorate this important day to the Mexican community, a day that is also celebrated by many here in the United States. And during our conversation today, we are going to talk about different ways to increase the Latinx connection to social issues and also the educational opportunities for this segment of the population in San Mateo County. And also let's focus on the lessons we have learned during the pandemic, what works and also what we can improve, right? So why Cinco de Mayo, right? Batallas and victorias? Well, because it's very important. La Batalla de Puebla represented a great victory for the people of Mexico. It symbolized the country's ability to defend its freedom against a powerful nation, France, we know that. And now, 159 years later, we can also be proud of our strength to overcome an extremely difficult year. We're still in the middle of this pandemic, but I think, slowly but surely we're seeing the light at the end of this tunnel. But so we still have more battles to fight, and there's so much more we can do, but we need to be informed because information is power, right? So we need to be informed. And today, that's what we're going to be doing. And we have three great panelists today. Let's start with Dr. Linda Prieto. She is the Executive Director of Upward Scholars. And Dr. Prieto grew up working in the agricultural fields of the central San Joaquin Valley. She earned her bachelor's degree in sociology from Stanford and a master's degree in education from Harvard and a PhD in education from the University of Texas at Austin. And she currently teaches courses in Chicanx and Latinx studies at Stanford University. And but we also have Dr. Manuel Alejandro Pérez. He's the Vice President of Student Services at Cañada College. Now, in addition to his role as VP, he currently teaches in the Performing Arts and Social Justice program at USF. He credited his passion for the community engagement to his experience as a community college transfer student and first generation from a campesino, immigrant, and Spanish-speaking family. Welcome, Doctor, as well. And I'm also delighted to introduce Rita Mancera, Executive Director of Puente de la Costa Sur. Now, Ms. Mancera's interests are closing the gap in education, also increasing services so youth can succeed academically and personally, and advocating for immigrants' rights, fair employment, and housing policies, as well as wealth development for underserved members of the community and development as well as of local leaders. So we have amazing accomplishments of this panel, but now it's time to learn more about the work and the mission of the institutions they represent. So let's do that. We have all these interesting questions for the three of you. So we're going to start with Dr. Manuel Alejandro Pérez. Can you tell us about Cañada College?
Sure. Muy buenas tardes, everybody. Good afternoon. So thank you so much for the introduction, Lorena. My name is Manuel Alejandro Pérez, y es un orgullo estar con ustedes. It's my pleasure to be here with you all. Cañada College is one of the three colleges within our San Mateo County Community College District. Cañada serves the students from the barrios and from our comunidades of Redwood City, of East Palo Alto, of Menlo Park, Pescadero, Half Moon Bay, just to name a few. Our mission really is to help students achieve their higher education goals of obtaining a certificate, transferring to a four-year university, building their skills in order to explore careers within the region and beyond. Cañada College is really a federally recognized minority serving institution. So what does that mean? Approximately 45% of our student population identifies as Latinx, and just under 20% of our students identify as either Asian American, Native American, or Pacific Islander. So the federal government grants us the college designation of an HSI, or Hispanic Serving Institution, and ANAPISI, or Asian American, Native American, and Pacific Islander Serving Institution. So in a nutshell, as a college and as a district, we also take very seriously our commitment to social justice. Cañada College has been deeply engaged in community conversations and a long-time strategic planning to deepen our awareness and connection to anti-racism. These values and the commitments that we make as a college further expand our responsibility to support what we believe are the needs of our communities and really support the success of our students. So that is Cañada College in a very quick nutshell, Lorena.
Okay, well, thank you. Ms. Rita Mancera, let's talk about your organization, Puente de la Costa Sur.
Thank you. Gracias. Buenas tardes. Thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and share about Puente. So Puente de la Costa Sur is a nonprofit organization. We focus to serve the areas of unincorporated San Mateo County, Pescadero, La Honda, Loma Mar, and San Gregorio. And Puente is here to promote and advocate for equitable access to education, health, and economic security. And while that sounds great, it really what we work for is everybody has dreams. And we are that bridge. Puente means bridge, and we're that bridge to those resources to connect people to not only one another, but also to help them reach those goals that they have for themselves and for their families. And very recently, we went through our strategic planning process, and we identify our population of interest, which is very important for organizations to have. So we're here to serve primarily farm workers, seniors, first-generation college students, families in the La Honda Pescadero Unified School District, and the children of those farm workers, as well as anybody that lives in the area, but those are our core families that we're trying to serve. Now, particularly for young people, what we have offered now for 14 years is a youth leadership and development program. So we provide basically three things to these students: leadership opportunities, paid internships, and academic support that they need to thrive, and then to be the ones that are going to be in these panels in another future Cinco de Mayos. You're mute, Lorena.
There you go. I was saying that, you know, internships are very important. That's how I began my career. So I think that's, you know, that's amazing that the organization is doing that, and we all have dreams. So Dr. Linda Prieto, tell us about Upward Scholars.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lorena. So for those of you who don't know us quite yet, Upward Scholars provides adult immigrants the boost they need to move up the economic ladder through education and career development support. So we assist them to continue their education in community college, such as Cañada, actually any of the 3 community colleges within the San Mateo County Community College District, to get higher paying jobs and to serve as role models, advocates, and leaders, both for their children and for our community at large. Our student community is 91% Latinx, 69% women, and 70% parents. They range in age from 18 to 70, with an average age of 34. 94% live in San Mateo County in Northern California, with a concentration in East Palo Alto, Menlo Park, and Redwood City in particular. All of our students are English learners who live at or below the poverty line. And I will pass it back to you, Lorena, and I hope that gave you a little glimpse of who we are at Upward Scholars.
Yes. Yes. Let's talk about now, how does Puente de la Costa Sur work with the community during these challenging times, Rita?
Okay, well, this is exciting to talk about because I think we're here talking about battles and victories, ¿verdad? Batallas and victorias. And I think that the pandemic has shown this resilience of so many people. So while I'll talk about a couple of battles, I don't know, I feel that we all need for our mental health some celebration and some victories. So I'll focus more on that. Something that we did when we started hearing about the pandemic, it was to listen. And I know it sounds super simple, but number one, we're good at it. We listen to each other. And in this particular case, so many of our community members were just afraid. They didn't know what to do with all the information coming on from the news, especially. And so we were there, a trusted partner, just to listen. And of course, immediately, we did different things to support them, especially financially. So as we hear that the jobs were getting eliminated, and I think you probably noticed that it was certain fields at the beginning, right? Like for us, it was recreational camps closed, and all the way down to actually farm workers, they were never closed. They were considered essential, for example. And I'll talk about that in a second to connect how I think that is a one battle. But we started providing a food distribution opportunity for community members. Many that have been participants of Puente in the past, but many found themselves in a line for the first time. And as an example, we're a very small communication. We went from spending about $35,000 on food one year to spending $350,000 on food the next year. Something that I'm really proud of, and this is really like a battle and a victory at the same time, is that when the CARE Acts came and undocumented people who filed taxes, even if they were filing taxes with a US citizen, were denied of essential support to make ends meet during this crisis, we obviously noticed that that was wrong. And so we started leveraging funding so that we could recreate, imagine almost the exact same thing. It was just called the Puente Relief Fund. Mm-hmm. And then we did the same process. We took the same eligibility criteria and we just eliminated the legal status. We even did a very simple screening process and we just cut checks the way that many people were receiving checks or money directly on their bank accounts. Early on also, and this is important for us because we are a little bit isolated from the rest of the county, we partnered with the county and with the local school district. And I think in an area I want to highlight the importance of working together to offer COVID-19 testing right here, not for people to go to other places. And as students were moving into remote work, we were able to partner also with the Half Moon Bay Library to distribute hotspots because internet is an extreme, challenge in our community, and internet and also cell phone reception is very spotty. Couple of things related to isolation. One, it was that early on for our seniors in the community who wanted to stay isolated because they were not sure about what was going to happen, how much risk there was. We set up a program to bring food and medication directly to them at their homes. But later on, when we had any positive cases, imagine this community coming like a SWAT team and just helping people, getting them groceries, making sure they have a place to stay. And this is, you know, I know I'm sharing information, many of you know, there's a lot of families sharing homes here. So when we got instructions about isolating people, then you have to think about where people is actually going to isolate. Mm-hmm. Of course, we distributed masks, hand sanitizers, and all that. But I think one of the victories also too, and I'll end with this, one is, in our community, there has been since March last year, only 61 positive cases of COVID in Pescadero, 11 in La Honda, and less than 10 in Loma Mar. So we needed to work at that level to prevent people from getting infected because it was not easy to find a place for them to be if they were positive. We don't have shelters around here. Actually, now we do have one in Half Moon Bay. And the last huge victory for me to share with you is how the work that we have been doing, and not we Puente, but we as community and people that advocate over the Hill and with government too, we were able to work with 3 different groups to vaccinate basically 100% of the farm workers in our area. And for people that in other times feel that they have never been the first one at getting a green card, getting a work permit, at getting immigration law that benefits them, at least this time they were one of the people at the front of the line getting their vaccines. So hopefully these victories overcome more of the battles. And still, there's a lot of work to do, but it is good to know that we have worked together to get here.
Definitely, those are great victories because, you know, farm workers are essential workers as well, right? But we never heard anything about, you know, how we're gonna protect them, right? As well as, you know, doctors or other essential workers that were on the front of the line. So we also depend on farm workers for, you know, the food that we put on our tables, and knowing them that they were first for this, right? I think it's awesome, and it's something that we really have to celebrate of one of our victories. So that's amazing. That's great. So now, Dr. Linda Prieto, I'm going back to you now to talk about the challenges students have faced during this pandemic, and what is it, and how do your organization continues to support them?
Thank you, Lorena. Yes, you know, I'm so proud of the work that Puente La Costa Sur has been doing, because they're also such a great partner for us, for our students that do live out on the coast. So thank you, Rita, for, you know, keeping the torch lit and keeping up with that great work. You know, for us in Upward Scholars, our students faced and continue to face also many challenges, not only as a result of the ongoing global pandemic that we've already mentioned, but due to systemic injustices, discrimination, and the local fires also that we experienced in this past year in particular. And as many of you may or may not know, nearly half of all the COVID cases in San Mateo County last year were Latinx residents, more than any other racial or ethnic group. And at least 28 students in our program also tested positive for the virus, which is, you know, over 10% of our student population. And even this week, we found out about one of our students who's a mother, and 2 of her children tested positive this week. So in 2020, Upward Scholar students were dealing, and into 2021, with many unexpected effects of the pandemic. More than 80% of our students reported a loss of employment, as well as housing and food insecurity, increased domestic violence, challenges with their overall physical, mental, and emotional health, and escalated discrimination, as I mentioned before. Over 50% of these students have yet to recover. The severity of the situation caused many to be pushed out of the area, out of San Mateo County altogether. So as we experienced a decline in student enrollment in Upward Scholars, we quickly stretched and have been retaining 76% of our students by providing additional services, many like the ones that Rita just mentioned. So for us to more holistically and deeply serve our students and their families, we did ensure students could take classes remotely by providing all students with laptops and internet access, which for us included partnering with the Redwood City Public Library, with the community colleges, with the San Mateo County Library system, as well as paying for some of those devices ourselves directly. We also helped half of our students pivot and maintain their what used to be in person one-on-one tutoring and mentoring sessions to all virtual, and then converted our virtual conversation clubs and created remote conversation partners that are already fluent English speaking volunteers to ensure that our students continue to practice English and stayed focused on their educational goals through these one-on-one or group settings. And then through the Habla Más program, we train students to work virtually as paid Spanish coaches, which some of you have hired. We also hired a full-time program manager who developed additional employment opportunities for our students. Two of our Habla Más coaches are again the ones providing interpretation services this evening. Through donations and partnerships with other local nonprofits and churches, we provided food vouchers, grocery gift cards, drive-through meals, or food delivery every 2 weeks to students' homes, to our most vulnerable of all students. And then through partnerships also with other local nonprofits, we provided over 600 masks for our students and for their families, and to offer critical emotional and community support. We established online facilitated spaces like what we call our Plática entre Familia, or conversation amongst family support group, and a student WhatsApp group as well. Through the support group, I learned and continue to learn directly about our students' overwhelming experience with loss and grief. So not only did 10% of our students test positive for COVID in the past year, but many also lost family members, both here locally and abroad, and were unable to be present and fully process their grief. So in partnership with a bilingual chaplain, we are now also providing this direct support in groups and one-on-one for our students and their families. You know, we've always done this, but during the pandemic, even more so, referring our students to other local partners for services beyond our mission, such as housing assistance, especially at Puente de la Costa Sur when the fires were happening out there, impacting our students on the coast, medical care, mental health services, intimate partner abuse support, ongoing immigration aid, and summer reading programs even for our students' children. We continued our transportation voucher program and actually expanded with donated bicycles and even an SUV that was donated to one of our students lacking transportation. So in closing, I'll say that we also created our first ever, what we call, Rita, our Student Safety Net Fund. And in our case, we're able to raise nearly $150,000 for financial assistance to relieve and encourage our students to persist in college. Thank you for the opportunity to share, Lorena.
That's, great victorious, right? That we're talking about. This is also great. You know, I remember when a year ago, when we, the pandemic began, it was such a problem, like for when we didn't know what was going to happen, and kids, had to stay at home, and not having a laptop. That was a incredible problem in within our community, and also internet access. So the fact that you're able to provide that to your student, I think that's a great help for them to advance their education, because if you don't have that, how can you keep studying, and especially now that is so many people are they don't know if they want to go back to school, like we talked about that before, right? Many of them are afraid of going back to school. But then also when we talk about mental health, I think it is very important, because many of us get depressed, right? And then sometimes I think as Latinos, we don't know how to share our feelings, right? We feel like if we share our feelings, it will be like, oh, I don't want to, tell people that I'm depressed, that I feel this way, but everything that is going on is overwhelming, and providing mental health support is, I think it's something that really helps our community. I think that's also a great victory for our people. And now, so we're gonna continue. We have all these, great victories that we have to applaud, right, from our organizations. Let's continue the conversation with Dr. Manuel Alejandro Pérez, and let's talk about what is the status of Latinx immigrants community from especially low-income families in San Mateo County during this pandemic as well.
Absolutely, Lorena. Yeah, thank you. So as I mentioned before, almost half of our population at Cañada identifies as Latinx or Hispanic. And so we understand our connection to the county of San Mateo through our population on campus, but also our partnerships in the community. And so what's interesting to see is that in this pandemic, the college in our community was also hit very hard. In particular, we've seen the impacts that this pandemic has had on the continued success of our local barrios, our comunidades, our communities. In general, we've really been looking at large nationwide research centers to kind of give us a sense of the data. What is the landscape looking like? So when we look at organizations and places like the National Student Clearinghouse and the report that they put out on a national trend of enrollment drops. So across the nation, what we saw is that there was about a 20% decline in enrollment, and it was mostly among our first-time students. And more notably, the report indicates that this included a 30% decline among first-time students who identified as either Black, Hispanic, or Native American. Now, interestingly enough, at Cañada, we did not necessarily see a drop in our head count or the number of students who were actually enrolling at the college. So think of one student, a body, one body. We didn't see the overall total number of students drop. In general, our head count, which is how we call that, stayed relatively the same with only a few exceptions. This means that we haven't necessarily seen a drop in the total number of students. We have, however, noticed a considerable decline in how many units students are enrolling in during any given semester during this pandemic. So students are taking less classes, but they are still enrolled, just taking far fewer units or classes. Our students are taking those less classes, and for example, let's take our English as a second language, our ESL program, for example. Our ESL program went from just under about 750 students in 2019-2020. So remember, we're just about in the middle of or before the pandemic, and then went to a drop of about 499 in this academic year, 2020-2021. Almost a 50% decline in the number of ESL students in the program, since we had about 1,053 or so students enrolled in the ESL program back in 2016. So you'll notice there's been a steady decline, but what really precipitated the biggest drop, arguably, was during the same time period that this pandemic hit. So it's not an uncommon connection to kind of link those two together. So what we're doing is we're looking really closely at our data, connecting with our community partners to really make informed and strategic next steps for the success and the vitality and the recovery of our region. We have to, Lorena. So that's kind of how we understand those connections to the comunidad as a college and as part of our community.
Okay, very interesting. It's 50%. That's a big number, right? On the taking less classes. So let's move on now with Dr. Linda Prieto, and we're going to talk about how do we get involved? We want to help, we want to support. So how do we support the community through your organization?
Thank you, Lorena, for that question. Yes, we have so many allies on this call this evening. I'm super happy to recognize a lot of the faces and the names that I see. In addition, obviously, to attending today, to become more informed and to renew your commitment as allies and as part of the Upward Scholars family, you can obviously always donate via our website, which you'll see in the chat. But you can also give of your time and talents in different ways, right? As volunteer tutors, volunteer English conversation partners, and volunteer mentors. Or you can even hire our students as Habla Más Spanish language coaches, professional nannies, or through our newest Move Up initiative, Job Up, where we match Upward Scholar students in need of employment with other community members like yourselves who are requesting their services. And so please look at our contact info in the chat, reach out via email or phone, call or text, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Lorena.
Okay, thank you. That's great. So I have another question for Dr. Manuel Alejandro. How does Cañada College support students during these challenging times?
Let me take a big breath. That is a good question because we've been doing a lot. And so I'll quickly try to run through our resources and what we've been doing. Cañada College has really worked diligently, but also strategically with our district, the San Mateo County Community College District, to meet the needs of our students and their familias. For example, our emergency relief in this pandemic, during this time, our college will have received approximately $44.5 million in funds during the pandemic, between multiple layers of what we're calling the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund, HERF, our minority serving institutions emergency funding, and emergency relief from our statewide chancellor's office. So approximately at this point, about $12.6 million of that total that I had shared earlier has already gone out to our students with the highest needs. The remainder of those institutional relief funds also support the needs of our students with things like laptops, Chromebooks, and hotspots for our student Wi-Fi access at home. We also know that the pandemic has greatly deepened those divides within our region. And because of this, our district and our college have really gone to great lengths to meet those basic needs of our familias. We activated things like our drive-through community food market at the College of San Mateo for the whole district, for all three of our colleges. We launched an emergency housing program for our students. We also expanded our existing food service grant program to all students who qualify for it. Lastly, we also set up a drive-up Wi-Fi service for our students, along with in the support of our associated students of Cañada College and our district partners to really access Wi-Fi in our college parking lots. We knew that our students were asking for it, and so we opened up our parking lots for full access to our students and our community. We really believe strongly that it's our responsibility to address food and housing security of our familias as a critical means to ensuring wellness and overall success. Lastly, our college also has been engaged in both important and critical reflection of the impact in and on the community. So how are we helping the community? And in what ways can we make an education a less challenging goal to obtain? We've increased our targeted outreach and recruitment to our Spanish-speaking comunidades within the region. We've engaged in even deeper understanding of what are our business practices? How do we engage as a college? And more importantly, asking ourselves, what have we done to remove barriers in our processes, for example, with enrollment of our new and continuing students? How can we get out of our own way and help our comunidades? And of course, each of these resources and interventions are above and beyond our typical improvement and expansion of support for the various communities that have been hit hard by the pandemic, like our students of color, our undocumented students, our low-income familias, and our veterans. So we continue to expand our financial literacy programs, our FAFSA completion workshops, Cash for College workshops, and we most recently launched a district-wide FAFSA completion campaign with the support of our emergency relief funding, because we want to look at the ways in which we support our students and get them to complete those financial aid documents to get more support during this time. So we speak to all these interventions and resources with our students during the pandemic, and we host college application workshops and college recruitment events, such as our annual Connect to College event, which is happening tomorrow. So check that out as well. And we hope to see all of you there, but we're doing quite a bit for our comunidad. We know that it's still not enough, but I think that's what keeps us hungry and looking for those other opportunities to support the comunidad.
And I think it's also if when students have the information, right, because you were talking about undocumented students, and many of them are afraid, right, to ask for help, because if they are in the process of, if they have an immigration process, if they have a case, they don't want to ask for help because they think about the public charge, right, the carga pública. We talked so much about that last year, and people were afraid to ask for help, thinking that that was going to affect their immigration cases, right? So I'm sure that, you know, by providing this help to students and also explaining, right, that this is not going to affect your case, right? Just if you have the right to get this help, is something that many students will feel like, okay, right, I can continue with this, and I can also receive this resources. So that's I think that's also a great way to help our students. So now we're gonna go back to Ms. Rita Mancera, and also talk about how do we get involved and support the community through your organization. What can we do?
So you can connect to Puente de la Costa Sur, visit our website, mypuente.org. I have to be honest, we have limited opportunities for in-person volunteering right now because we're still not past the pandemic, and that has been something that people like to do, but we still have to be very careful. But also, I hope that you agree with me that our families, the parents that I know are almost like geniuses of doing a lot with very little. And while that is very honorable, it's not equitable. And so we are running a campaign to raise $250,000 for our youth program. Tomorrow's cause I gives. And if any of you have the opportunity to give, our farm workers' families give. And I think people like to have an action to have an action item. So it doesn't matter what level, but if you have the capacity to give, visit cosigives.org/Puente, and the funds that we're raising tomorrow will provide paid internships for students, scholarships primarily for first-generation college students and also those pursuing the trades, and we'll continue helping Puente to respond to the pandemic directly here in our local community, in our bubble of the world. But that's how you can stay connected. There will be more opportunities. We have a lot of really cool volunteering programming, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna come a little bit farther down the year.
Okay, that's great. All right, so I know this is all this great information, right, that you are providing. Now, if you have any question, you can use the chat, and if you have any question for our panelists, and I'll be sharing your questions with them a little bit later. Okay, so if you have any questions, just write down, type it in the chat, not write it down. Okay, so now we're going to continue with this great conversation, and now it's my pleasure to introduce Nadia Moreno. We're going to switch gears right now with Nadia Moreno. She is the Commissioner of Publicity of Associated Students of Cañada College. Welcome, Nadia.
Oh, thank you so much, Lorena. Well, as Lorena mentioned, hello, everyone. My name is Nadia Moreno, and it is my pleasure as the Commissioner of Publicity for ASCC and a member of the Latinx community to be here with you all. Victorias en batallas. I have found myself experiencing battles not only within my education, but my cultural pride. At the age of 17, I was told by a teacher that it would take more than a miracle for me to go to college. Yet as I stand here in front of you today, I am proud to say that I have achieved my miracle, my victoria, and that was going to Cañada College. And thanks to the support of this college, I will be transferring and claiming more victorias at UC Berkeley next fall. I have made it my goal to receive a higher education as a means to eliminate negative stereotypes placed on first-generation Mexican-American students, such as myself. I am proud to be a part of this beautiful event that celebrates and champions the generations of Latinx people who have and will continue to enhance our society in so many ways. Thank you. I'll hand it back.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you. And, congratulations for all your victorias. Okay. And I'm sure that many students can relate to your story. And this is a great example, right? That we can achieve anything that we set our mind to. So congratulations again. So now we're gonna talk more, and I wanna introduce two other students that will be sharing also their stories with us today. We're gonna talk with Josue Arevalo. He's a paisano from Mexico, okay? And he's a student at Cañada College and is taking his last required ESL class. Okay, that is ESL 400 writing class. So we have Josue already here with us. And we also have Marta Dugarte. She is from Venezuela and has been an Upward Scholar student since 2018. She's an English major and her goal is to earn an associate degree and transfer to a four-year university. Currently, she's taking dance, interpersonal communications, and English 110 classes at Cañada College and College of San Mateo. So welcome to two of you. Feliz Cinco de Mayo. Let's begin this. Let's talk about how do you learn about Upward Scholars? Josue, we're gonna start with you.
Okay, hello everyone. I just know about Upward Scholars when I was in the Sequoia Dot School, and in the last level, I remember it was in level 4, and during the transition to Cañada, someone from Cañada College let me know about the program of Upward Scholar. That is why I the opportunity to start in the college.
Okay, and you're doing great. So that's good. Let's talk with also with Martha. And how do you learn about Upward Scholars, Martha?
Hi everyone, and thank you for being here this afternoon. I heard about Upward Scholars when I started my transfer to the college, to the community college, from the South San Francisco Adult School. The staff of the Adult School providing me information about this program and how Upward Scholars can continue supporting me with my academic path at community college.
Okay, and we have been talking about the pandemic and how we all feel and what is the ways that it has affected us. And so, what has been your experience with the pandemic, Josue?
Yeah, during the pandemic was a hard time for me, honestly, because I lost my job, but they support me in this case with gift cards. Also, they give me bags, food box, and also they support me with my books for my classes. And also, they have a good program, and Upward Scholar have the tutorial program, and they bring me a tutor for do my homeworks, and also I start with a partner conversation to be more practice and more familiar with the English. And also I try to be included in all of the meeting that they have to be more confident to myself. In addition, we have also a group of the WhatsApp conversation. It is like a family, and we do things like any problems that we have, we share within this group, and everyone is helping to everybody.
And you know what? Practice makes perfect, right? We need to practice.
I try to be more confident with that and still practice.
Yes. So, Martha, so what has also been your experience with the pandemic, during this pandemic, Martha?
During this pandemic, it was so difficult for me. I lost 2 relatives, and my best friend died last week. And it's so difficult and sad to face the death, helping without helping, having the opportunity to feel or give comfort and hugs. I start like my other peers taking classes online. The first, when the pandemic started, I didn't receive my salary during 3 weeks. And now I'm so concerned because after July 9, I will lose my job, my company where I work have been working there for 3 years. They are going to move to another state. I have to lose the job. And yes, it's so hard this time for all students. Not just, I know it's for me, it's hard, but I know it's for all of work. They are so
yes. These are very challenging times, and I'm very sorry about your loss. And hopefully the job situation, right, will improve once more things open up, right? I think we're gonna get there slowly, but we'll get there. and you will be okay, Marta. And so let's talk now about the type of assistance that you are receiving now during these challenging times. Josue, what about you?
Yeah, I think I already said that, but honestly, I'm so grateful for all the support that Upward Scholar bring me. I'm so glad with my food boxes and my gift cards. And honestly, I think nobody do that. I mean, nobody do that things in other countries. It's not written. I mean, I don't know, but I'm so proud for that. In Mexico, I didn't receive something like the help that Upward Scholar bring me on here. Yeah, I'm so glad for that, and I try to continue with my my classes, and also I'm thinking about my new career in this country. I think I try to study makeup designer. I hope that.
Okay. Yeah. And as you said, like, we are very fortunate, right? That we live in this country and we have all these resources and we can access resources. And we also have very generous people who can help us, right? And what about you, Marta? What are you receiving any assistance during this pandemic?
During this pandemic, I received the support of the Upward Scholars. I received financial support, moral support. I received, we are a student safety net fund. With that funds, they helped me to pay my rent, food, and my car insurance. With a moral, we shared with Plática Entre Familia, the third Fridays during this month, every month. It's a wonderful place for sure, our challenge and our success, because not just only the challenge, we have a success during this time. Yeah.
So you think that, that's very interesting, the pláticas within familias, right? I know that Linda mentioned that before. So you feel very comfortable when you go and talk to some people, and maybe some of them are going through the same thing of you're going, and it's easier for you to talk about it when you are with this group?
Yes, of course, because we are the same. We have the same challenge. We are an immigrants, all of them, and we have everybody. Is a lot of people. They are like me, alone here in this country, in this city in Bay Area. They are like our families. Right. It's the peers, and we ask about the classes or what happened if somebody lost our relative. Is a wonderful place for us, and it's in Spanish. Okay. And it's very nice because we can, I think the feelings is more easy for us express with our language. And
you feel more comfortable, right? Talking about those feelings in Spanish. So I can relate to that. Totally.
I would like to add, Lorena, my hope is programs like Upward Scholars, not just only in the community, in San Mateo community. I hope so Upward Scholars can spend to the whole California state.
Wow, that's very kind of you to say that, and I'm sure that many students feel like you, Marta, that they receiving all this help, right? And it's just like I'm gonna describe it like this: it's like, right? You just like feel like, okay, we are going through all these challenging times, and there are so many things that so many battles to fight, right? But when you have the support with, from different organizations like Upward Scholars, or also the other organization that we have here, and as also Rita was mentioning from her organization, it's just like you feel like, okay, I'm not by myself, especially, if you're an immigrant and are here in the Bay Area, alone. I feel that way because I'm here by myself. My family is not here in Northern California. So when you have the support from these organizations, and you can feel like, okay, I'm not alone here, right? Because I can talk to someone about what's going on with me, about how I feel during this pandemic, how I feel that I was not able to say goodbye to a loved one, right, during these challenging times, and how I feel because maybe I don't have food on my table, right, tonight. But then I can get it because there are so many kind people who are helping us. And so I think it's great, Linda, that people are very thankful, students are very thankful about the job that your organization is doing at also Puente. So this is something I'm sure that will like put a smile on their face of Linda and also Rita Mancera about what the organizations are doing. And of course, you know, Dr. Manuel Alejandro with the other students that are going to Cañada College. So this is like, I think it's great. Moral and community support are extremely important, especially now. And I really thank you, Josue and Marta, for sharing your feeling with us and also your experience. You know, how do you feel during this challenging times? And so I really thank you for that. I'm looking here at the watch to see if we have more time for questions, but I think we are right there, right? I'm monitoring the time right now. And so is Linda, Rita, or Manuel have anything they want to add right now before we move to the second part of this program? Because we only have like 1 minute or two, I think. Or we can go to questions.
I would love to make just the closing comment. Again, you know, our students to share so honestly their experiences this afternoon with all of us, you know, Josue and Marta, to open up your lives to us in this way. I'm just so grateful, and I'm so proud of both of you. And you have represented your peers and the Upward Scholars Familia so well this evening. And please, you know, continue to work as hard as you have, and don't give up, and know that we will always be here in your corner. And Marta, I hear you, and I want to take Upward Scholars across the state. And I'm so happy that you came on board with us at late February as part of our staff, and you will help us to achieve that. So muchas gracias, everybody.
Thank you. How about Rita? You want to make a comment, or also Manuel?
Thank you. I just, you know, I take this Cinco de Mayo because I used to come and kind of criticize it, like, this is not, you know, how we celebrate Cinco de Mayo, you know, the way that it is culturally here. But I think we're here. So we're actually doing a really good use of our time on Cinco de Mayo and setting an example. And remember, we won that battle, but we lost the war. So there's just so much work for us to do to make our society more equitable for everybody.
And then I just want to wrap up by saying a few things. Y lo voy a decir en español y luego después lo voy a decir en inglés, porque así es como yo lo siento. Y yo quisiera decirle a los alumnos que han presentado con nosotros hoy que realmente lo que nosotros hacemos es para ustedes. Y en este día de 5 de mayo hablamos mucho de lo que es el cambio de poder. Es de lo que se trata una batalla y la victoria, el cambio del poder. Y para mí y para muchos de nosotros, yo creo firmemente que nuestra responsabilidad es empoderar a nuestros alumnos. Ustedes tienen el poder y la posibilidad de sobresalir, y es nuestra responsabilidad asegurarnos que nuestros sistemas pueden apoyarlos a ustedes. You all have the power. We're so proud of you. And so Marta, Josue, Nadia, you all are living proof of what can happen if people just get out of your way, and also you're able to bloom the way that you were always meant to. And if we can continue to create those environments, I think we can hear more about opportunities for you to understand how powerful you are. And so very proud of you and happy to be in this space. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Rita, Linda, and Manuel. So we talk about this. It has been a very typical year, right? And I feel that we're slowly, you know, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And I want to share something that my parents always taught me. It was to help others during, during this challenging times, I've seen the best of people, right? and neighbors helping each other, providing food, also sharing information with each other about financial help, about also about food or the COVID vaccine, right? And as I mentioned before, information is power. And we know there are resources available to help us overcome some of the batallas we're facing during this pandemic. And so with all the information that we received today, we have more power, right? We're like, oh, this organization can help me with this, I can do this, right? So information is power, is key. And so I thank you for participating in this first half, right, of our Cinco de Mayo a las 5, batallas and victorias. And now we're going to move into the breakout rooms. And we all registered for a specific room, and our team will guide us through this process now. So I hope you enjoy, and there's more information for us, okay? And I think that Jessica is gonna talk to us about the breakout rooms. Jessica.
Thank you, Lorena, and thank you everyone for being here with us today. If you did not want to stay for the breakout room portion for our workshops on how getting into college, affording college, what to study, and transferring to university, you can exit the Zoom meeting in our spring event now. Thank you so much for coming. Anyone else, everyone else who actually signed up for a Zoom workshop, please stay on the call. We will open those up in a little bit. If you did not register, or if you registered after 4 p.m. today and aren't assigned to a breakout room automatically, please stay in the main room. Our techs, Kelsey and Jill, will help you choose a breakout room, and we'll send you over there so you can learn all about the topic that you want. So just bear with us for a few minutes. We're gonna allow some people to come in for people who only wanted to participate in the second half or the second part of our session. Yeah, so just bear with us. If you have any comments, I see comments coming in the chat, please feel free to do them, to type your comment in the chat. And otherwise just stay put, and we will be sending you off to learn about getting into college. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone. This is your tech support, Kelsey here. I'm going to open the breakout rooms for you. You're going to be automatically sent to a room that you signed up for. And like Jessica said, if you weren't registered for a room, you'll be here with Jill and me, and we'll send you to a room right away. So thank you for joining us. And if you didn't sign up for a room because you don't need to participate, then feel free to leave the meeting. And thank you again for being here. And we'll all come back around 6:25. So you've got 25 minutes in the breakout rooms right now. Okay.
See you at 6:25.
I thought I did something wrong. I said, oh.
Ya dije yo, ay, qué linda.
I was thinking like, no, Lorena, you didn't do it again, right?
No, es que, ¿saben qué? A último momento les pedí a Kelsey que nos pusieran en un breakout room aparte, because I thought, okay, just in case anybody stays in the main room and is like wanting to talk to us individually and maybe ask something to any of us that might make us uncomfortable or that we're not prepared to answer, ¿verdad? Dije, no, mejor let them focus in the main room on getting people out to the breakout rooms, y a nosotros que nos pongan en otro cuartito. So, that's what this is. Yeah.
Oye, esas
Welcome back, everyone.
Kelsey, does it look like everybody is back?
It does look like that, yes.
Great, then we'll pass it back to Lorena. Thank you.
Okay, great. Great to see you all back here. How do we feel? I feel great. I feel, I feel awesome. This we got all this, great information, right? So it has been great. So, and this is a great way to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. And I want to thank our panelists, Dr. Linda Prieto, Dr. Manuel A. Pérez, Ms. Rita Mancera. I also want to thank Nadia Moreno, Josue Arevalo, and Marta Dugarte for sharing your stories with us. Thank you so much. And I want to leave saying this, let's be proud, please, of our accomplishments and our desire to keep working hard so our goals can become a reality. And let's never forget who we are, right? So let's celebrate our victorias and keep fighting to win more battles. That's what we need to do. Never give up, please. And I just want to say Feliz Cinco de Mayo, and it was a pleasure seeing you all today. I hope you enjoy this great event, Cinco de Mayo a las 5. And thank you so much, Linda, for the invitation. And I hope you all, leave this event with a smile on your face and all this great information that was shared today. And so we can take advantage of everything, all the resources that are out there for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorena. Kelsey, can you put us back in gallery view so we can take a quick screenshot for everyone who's here, just to know kind of the familiar faces and share with our community who attended the event today? Are you able to do that?
Absolutely, yes. I just removed the spotlight, and anyone who doesn't want to be in this photo, please just turn off your camera.
All right, everyone smile big, big cheeses, queso for everyone. And I'll take a few just in case someone closes their eyes. But also if you want to go, feel free to go whenever you want to. I'm gonna switch also to our others since we have so many people here. There are quite a few pages. All right, thank you everyone. Linda, do you want to say a few closing comments or?
I don't want to keep people over our time, I see actually, but we do have a couple of minutes, so I will. Muchísimas gracias again. Thank you everybody so much, from our interpreters to our wonderful planning committee. I feel like I want to give you all a special shout out. Kelsey Aston King, Joe Haberlin, the team of Upward Scholars that includes Diana Vizcarra, Marta Dugarte, Milena Miyashiro, Jessica Magallón Galvez, su servidora, myself, and Lorena Domínguez, Rita Mancera from Puente de la Costa Sur, Dr. Manuel A Pérez from Cañada College, and all of the wonderful facilitators you brought us this evening to the breakout sessions. Thank you all to those facilitators también.
Thank you.
Buenas noches.
Adiós. Gracias. Feliz 5 de Mayo.
Gracias. Feliz
Buenas noches. Thank you.
Buenas noches.
Un abrazo, hugs to everybody. Thank you, thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias por estar con nosotros, Luisa.
Muchísimas gracias. Wow, this is so lovely. Look at all these faces.
Thank you, Linda. We'll see you later. And thank you, all of our Cañada folks that are in the room, our Upward Scholar staff. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yes, bye, everybody.
Buenas
Take care.
tardes.
Buenas tardes.